turned 10, and now we're 50 and we're hanging out again. Getting all the dives that we used to run. Times change and it's not as much fun. The bar scene ain't what it used to be. Listen to this song and you tell me.
Right, good morning, good morning. Okay, Project FoXDaWG Day 19 rolling along nicely, and today I have for you yet another fun lathe project. I've got to do pretty much what I did in the last video in this one. I've got to make wheel spacer for the rear wheel. Now there's only one wheel spacer on this. There's a washer in the other side which is normal and supposed to be there, but all the spacing on the rear wheel of this bike is done on the one side with a big fat spacer, and I've got to remake it whether it's the correct size or not because it's skanky and horrible galvanized rubbish, and I want to replace it with a nice shiny stainless steel one just like I did on the front. So first of all, take the wheel out, fit the disc, fit the pulley, chuck the wheel back in with the washers as I did in the front one, get the alignment correct with the slot in extras. Once I know everything's absolutely correct, whether that rear spacer that's there now is exactly the right size or not is irrelevant. I'm going to remake it, and I'll remake it to whatever is the correct size by lining up the disc with the caliper and the pulley and the belt run so everything is bang on. So that's all we need to do for chat this morning. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back. Lovely. Right, there we are. That's it. Happy with that gorgeous look. Fantastic. Okay, just a couple of quick things. With a steel hub, with pretty much nearly all steel hubs, they don't have threads to bolt into when it comes to your pulley or sprocket and your disc. Normally they have a clearance hole and you put nuts on the back. So that was the reason for wrapping the back of the spanner in tape, because I'm kind of manipulating it in here, don't want to chip my new rim. And at the same time, you must use thread lock on these, always on pulleys or sprockets, always put thread lock on them. You can put the blue stuff on if you want. That's the medium ordinary removable thread lock. That's fine, it's better than nothing, but if you can, use this. This is the Loctite brand 2701, green high strength Loctite. So that takes it a little stage further and makes sure those bolts ain't ever coming loose. Also torque them up nicely, put them all in, did them up, torque them around first to get them down. In Harley-Davidson manuals, they don't give a specific torque setting for pretty much anything. It's always a torque range from and to. And it says on a steel hub, where it knows you're using steel nuts, to use the torque range from 61 Newton meters to 75 Newton meters. That's quite a wide range, a 14 Newton meter range that you can torque those up to, and that will be acceptable. What's more important than anything is that they're all the same as each other, not necessarily where they're a specific torque setting, as long as they're over what they should be. And they are. I put them in first at 65 all the way around, then went up to 70, it's all within the range, and torqued them around a second time, and now that thread lock will have dried and bitten in solid. They are never going to work loose in this lifetime. Happy with that. So once again, Loctite 2701 green high strength thread lock. If you're going to put a pulley or a disc or even the standard sprocket for a chain on your bike, it's always a good thing to do. They do come usually with lock nuts, but why not use that as well, because then they're never going to fall off, are they? Right, there we are. Let's put the disc on. there we go. Disc in place. That's all the furniture on, ready to mount the wheel. Right, I'm not going to put it on this time with that big fat ugly Gert factory spacer, that's going. But I'll put in some washers to pack out most of that space and leave me just a little bit of gap so I can put those fine-tuned slot-in washers that I made in the last video. But before I can do that, I need to find where that alignment absolutely is. So once this is on and a few washers are in, it's caliper on, belt in place, and then I can line it all up. Let's go. And there we are, the centre line of the disc. That groove in the middle lines up perfectly with the join in the two caliper halves. Bang on spaced. Right, there we are. No need to really explain this, you can see exactly what's going on. I've got the disc lined up again perfectly with the caliper, everything's in place, and I've got the majority of that remaining gap packed out with most of the spacers, and I've got the last cut ones I had from the last video. I just need to slot those in, pack out that space, nip it up tight once that's in there and it's all held in position, double check that that's still in line, then I know that is my exact spacing. And if it's the same as that, then I machine a nicer looking one of them. If it's a different size than that, then I machine a nicer looking one of them that's the right size. Ain't odd, is it? Okay, with everything bolted up solid, they now don't move at all, nice and wedged. And let's check around here. Sorry for the wobbles. Penny's much better at this than me. There we go. Check the caliper again. Absolutely bang on. Join between the caliper halves, right above the groove in the disc. If your disc hasn't got a groove in it like this, then just measure the middle of the disc and it needs to be right there. That's it, we have the right size. Right, time to bung this in now. See what it looks like, all done. I want to show you this first. That's the Scabby original factory spacer that I'm not going to use. That's the axle. It goes on, moves around freely, and at the same time has that amount, let's put it in the place it lives, which is about there, has that amount of free play. Mine doesn't. Goes on, moves around freely, put it where it lives, no free play. Love it. So what I'm trying to do with this, even if you copy, which is what I've done, I've copied that in its diameter that way, but improve if you can. So I've taken out just a shade of that free play. I've bored that hole to, that's 19 millimeters exactly, dead. That's it, 3/4 axle, bomb. And that is 19.16 millimeters. So 0.16 of a millimeter is the clearance. The inside of the factory one is 19.24. So I've made it smaller so that it's a better fit, and that is something that I strongly believe in. If you're going to customize something, if you're going to accessorize, whatever you're going to do, even if it's just tidying something up, try and make improvements along the way. Improvements over and above the factory's sometimes vague tolerances, and I love that sort of thing. That is now a precision spacer. It's a better fit than the original. It's 304 stainless steel. It will last a lifetime and it will look like that forever. Anyway, stop talking and get on with it. Let's put it in. Here we go. Right, okay, a couple more things before I finish today. Everything is right now. I just want to show you about the wheel alignment. I've done the wheel alignment and got that side of it absolutely right. So 4.5, that wheel is perfect now. So the easiest way to do it on a dyno, the factory provides for you these little measuring holes. Really sorted. They don't do them on a sports stat and certainly not on a soft tail, but on these you've got that. That is the easiest way ever. You take a piece of wire, bent like that into 90 degrees, line that up level, and then you take this little arrangement. This is simply an Allen bolt with a little bolt in there, a hole drilled through which I can slide that, and then I can lock that wherever I need to, and that gives me a pretty accurate measuring device. So I pop it in the hole, ensure that this is parallel to the swing arm, and pop the bolt right on the end in the center of the axle, and then nip it up like that. There we are. And that gives me the distance between that hole and that hole, like that. And then all you do, come around this side, it's locked in position, and just offer it up. Pop it in the hole, you get the same hole the other side. That goes in there, and there's the axle lined up absolutely perfectly. As long as that's parallel, then that's square and that's square. So you've got perfect wheel alignment with that. That cost me literally pence to make. You can make one yourself. If you're not sure how to do it, drop me a line and I'll talk you through it. It really is easy. Just as long as you can drill a hole through a bolt to get a bit of wire in there, ever so easy. Another little way to tell, if you're interested, if you've got a belt like this, not just on a Harley, but any bike with a belt drive, you've always got a gap either side of the belt. The belt rides in its little track, and you've got a wall either side. And if the belt is riding up one of those walls either side, then your rear wheel alignment is out. You should have an equal distance either side. I've got about 1 millimeter either side of the belt on this, just for expansion space, and that's correct. So when I roll the wheel around, that sits absolutely in the middle of the pulley all the time. It doesn't ride one side or the other. If it does, then clearly you've got your wheel alignment wrong, not just the side-to-side alignment, but the actual lateral alignment as well. And that's all a way of telling me that what I've done here with this spacer and that alignment just now, I've got absolutely everything absolutely perfect, and I'm really happy with that because I'm going to ride this pretty hard. One more thing, somebody said, why don't you put a 150 in the back? Honestly, mate, I would love to. I would so love a big fat 150 in the back of this, but apart from the fact the fender wouldn't really take it, you've got about 1 centimetre either side, I think. Yeah, not even that, probably just about a centimetre either side of the tyre, so that's not a lot. You'll end up packing that right out, probably have to flare this out slightly. Wouldn't be very clever. The other side of it is this. Check it out. Can you get in there, Ken? That is how close. Here, let me do that with a light. Look at that. That's how close the belt runs to the tyre. Look at that. That's mad. It's crazy, it really is. But that's the factory design. That's it. You've literally got about 3mm of space. And this particular Harley's an old one. It's a 1999 Dyna, and they have this big 1.5 inch wide belt. The later Harleys have a 1 inch belt. And then you get that extra space and you can put a bigger tyre in if the fender allows it. I could put a bigger fender on, but these fender rails, they're big fat cast lumps of pig iron and they're welded to the frame, so you ain't moving them anywhere. And that's it really. I'm happy with it as it is. I'm just going to live with it. I could put a thin belt in there, and that's a big old expensive conversion. It means a new pulley, a new belt and a new front pulley, all the primary off to fit it all. Honestly, this is a short makeover. I want to get this bike on the road by March. And I think that's it for now. Now in the next video, I'm going to get cracking on the paintwork. I've got to take the brake bracket off over there because the chrome's all zacked on it. Same on the front one, got to get that off and scuzz all the chrome back so that's ready for paint. And then paint all that lot over there. Put it with all that lot over there to dry. Once it's dry, chuck it all on that thing there. And we have a bike that starts to look like a Harley again. What do you reckon, Penny?
That sounds cool.
That's all. I think that's it for today. Happy with that. Thank you for watching.
Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.
Nice one.
Well, I met my friend when I turned 10, and now we're 50 and we're hanging out again. Getting all the dives that we used to run. Times change and it's not as much fun. The dive bars ain't what they used to be, and me and my friend, that's plain to see.